Hey folks, and welcome back to the build. You know, they're finishing the roof today. Last time they were almost done. Today they will finish that up. I was a little confused. Their labor here did not include rain spouts, so that's got to be added to our list now of things to do. We're checking off, though, a lot of items on our final list of preparations here, so very excited about that. And today we'll begin greening the place up. We need some greenery to add some atmosphere and make it feel more like a home. I'll also answer some questions and tell you my top strategies for selecting contractors. It may not be what you think. Anyway, let's jump into it. Morning, stop it, Captain. Boy, I've never seen anybody use so much paint thinner. This must be like the 5th or 6th gallon of paint thinner I bought. Paint thinner to me is something you buy like once and it lasts 10 years. They're going through that paint thinner like Grant took Vicksburg. But I tell you what, getting down to the short strokes, because this one can of paint is something I'm going to do. I'm going to take care of one of the little patchwork projects today to get that off the list. And I think I asked Lon what other paint she needs. She said she had enough to finish. So anyway, that's good.
Thank you. Nice, Sidam.
I got the last piece of plaster also. She said this is the last piece she needs to finish all the plaster of the house. So there it is. 150 baht for that. I like when something's the last. One thing I've noticed already at this new house, we get our shipments early in the day, whether it's Lazada, Temu, Shopee, whatever. They come in the morning, not the afternoon. I want everybody to wear a light blue shirt at the housewarming. And I don't really have any light. I'm not really a light blue. I'm more of a dark blue kind of guy. But anyway, she bought this. How much? About 200 baht. Like a golf shirt, but very thin material. Kind of cheap and chintzy. Probably from China. I think we can close the case on the paint thinner use. I thought they were just cleaning brushes with it. They actually water the paint down with it. So like this was almost empty. She put paint thinner in there, and now you got enough to do some painting. Anyway, I want to do this. I want to do this over here today. That's just been sitting there undone for ages. I can get that done probably in 10 minutes. I think Blonde gave me the wrong kind of gloves, though. I'm not the wrong kind of gloves. I think she gave me 2 left-handed gloves. Because on my left hand, I got a nice palm, but on the right hand, I got a red palm. I'm going to see if I can make some haste doing this. Get something done today. I painted all the rust spots, all the welds. This was never gone over. This has been welded up like this for probably 6 months. But anyway, I painted all the welds with the leftover gray paint, and I'm going to wait for that to dry and go over it with the black paint. Got some on my arm. Another thing I want to do today or tomorrow if we have time. Guys here working on the gate again today. That's like a never-ending saga. But I want to go to the, I don't know what you call it, nursery maybe. The nursery where we can look for some like trees, potted plants, that kind of thing to put around here. So we'll see what that stuff's going to cost and what's available, all the different things. I think you'll be surprised. Hopefully we'll be surprised on the quality and quantity of items that they have available. There's several just right around here. There's a lot of these kind of places. And you can buy other things like decorative stone, mulch. You'll see. We'll try to go like a garden center kind of thing. We'll try to go because I do want to get a couple of potted trees or something like that to put around. Whatever else Lon has in her mind, but we'll try to go today or tomorrow and get that done. While I wait for this to dry, I'll answer a couple questions. One, this area over here, we're going to call that like the front garden. That's where a lot of the water, people say, where's the water going to go off the roof? So the plan is on that far side, like half of the roof to drain on that far side, and the other half of the roof to drain into this like front garden area. And then we'll cut like a little hole through the wall with a pipe that can, if there's excess, can run off into the street or whatever. But that's where it's going to go, and that's where we'll get to put some plants and some trees and all that stuff in this area and over there in that area. So they'll need the water. Also, we may have water collection bins, like a big drums or big. They also have, maybe we can get these at the garden center, these great big ceramic type vases is the best way to describe them, but they probably hold, I don't know, 50 gallons or something. They're huge. They're huge, these vases. A lot of people have them. They even put fish in them. We put little minnows in there. It's so much water, and with the rainfall, you don't really ever have to put a pump in there or anything. With rain, aerating the water, and it's such a big quantity of water. These little tiny guppies can live in there, and they eat mosquito larvae and mosquitoes and that kind of thing. So we'll see about that. Another big question somebody asked, and they said, well, with all the contractors you've had, is there a correlation between the expensive ones in the quality and the cheap ones in the quality? In other words, did you take lowest bidder on everything and then complain about the quality? I think was the gist of the question. To more put a point on it, do you get what you pay for in terms of service? I wish it was that easy. Your experience may be different than mine, but my experience has been, honestly, some of the cheaper contractors were the better ones. Some of the more expensive ones, where we tried to throw money at something, ended up being the worst ones. And there's a direct correlation there. That's my experience. Now, I'll tell you why yours may be different than mine, and that's because I refused to deal with anybody who wanted money up front. So there was plenty of contractors that said, we want 50% of the money up front, 30% of the money up front. And I said, deal breaker, no dice, see you. Because that's before they even start now. And they're not buying materials. It's not like they need that to buy materials. We're buying the materials. I have to front the money for that. All they're doing is providing the labor. I have no problem paying 25% of the fee for the labor if they've completed 25% of the labor, but I'm not going to pay 25% up front. However, I might have missed the boat on some decent contractors with that type of policy, but that's a personal policy. And I always look at it this way. You'll never be sorry that you didn't hire somebody. You'll only be sorry that you did hire somebody, the wrong one. And I've always kind of used that as a mantra. It served me well in the business life and here. So could I have missed out on one? Yeah. But also I know I missed out on some that will just come or not even show up and just keep the money or come and do a shoddy job. And so I've alleviated more problems by not hiring those kind of people. Some of the best ones we've had, the ceiling guys, they were kind of right in the middle of the price range. They weren't the cheapest. They weren't the most expensive. They were kind of in the middle. We liked the guy. Our tile guys, he was one of the cheaper for tile. But then when it came to other items, he got real expensive. So some of the contractors too, if you're using them for things, that's not their primary thing. But if you offer them the work, they might say, well, gee, yeah, I'll do that. But they're going to ask for more money. They're not sure. They're a little bit unsure of themselves, who they're going to have to bring in to help, et cetera. That's going to be a higher price. So if just the fact that they did a good job on one thing doesn't necessarily mean they're just an awesome craftsman and whatever they do, they're going to do a good job. And if you're having them do stuff outside of their comfort zone, it might be bad work. And here again, at the higher price. So that scared us off some of the things. A lot of times we steered away from the cheapest as well. Some of the ones that are real cheap are really living hand to mouth, and they bring their problems to work. So we had a couple of them, and their problems become your problems. I got to put a clutch in my truck. My motorbike broke down. My wife needs money for this. They're asking for money every day, even if it's only $1,000 baht. And here I am trying to. It's almost like I'm doing a payroll every day. I don't want that. I want them to show up, do the job, give me a bill, and I pay it at the end. And most of them have been like that, but some want some money along the way. 25%, 50%, and then a final payment. Okay. But not these everyday hand to mouth. I need 500 baht today so I can buy a pack of cigarettes. And that's not my problem that you're out of cigarettes. But that's what you get at that very low end. So we've really tried to steer away from those and still get some shoddy work. And a couple of the ones we had for blocks and stuff that we said, okay, this guy's a lot more money, but he seems like he knows what he's doing. And it was like the higher price guy, and it was terrible. So your experience may be different, but do you get what you pay for? If it's just that simple, and most things in life, like if you're going out to buy a car or a motorbike or something, A lot of times, yeah, you do get what you pay for. You buy the real cheap one, it's probably going to leave you on the side of the road someday. You buy a good quality vehicle, you're going to be happy with it for a lifetime. I wish it were that easy in contractors, but like I said, your experience could be different than mine. The last question I'll just address real quick about the swimming pool. So a lot of people have asked, well, what about the swimming pool? When are you doing the swimming pool? This area is the area kind of earmarked for the pool. We're going to work on cleaning this up over the next week. However, I'm not going to do the pool until rainy season is over. You have a high water table here, and I don't want to dig down. The way we're doing this, apparently, we're going to dig a hole, basically, to oversimplify it. We're going to dig a hole and plop a fiberglass pool into it. But this time of year, the water table, you might dig a meter down and have water already, this close to the sea, etc., and with all the rains. So probably November, December-ish. And I might even dig a test hole first, because sometimes it takes another month for the water. It might not be till January when the water table's low enough where we can go as deep as we want. So in the meantime, though, I have a friend who's renovated a house, and hopefully next week he's getting a pool installed now. Now his situation's a little different where his land is so elevated. I think the bottom of the pool is still going to be below street level. We'll look at it. But he's basically doing the same thing. So this will give us a little bit of a sneak peek at that process. And we'll watch his pool go in next week, as long as it's all on schedule and there's no bad weather. I don't make a promise, but I'm tentatively scheduled to do that. We can watch that pool in progress and learn a little bit, and maybe learn from his mistakes, which everybody's probably done from me, which is all fair, all fair. So that way, when I am ready, we'll have more knowledge of really how to do this correctly. I'm also looking for a deal for it. There's some very good pool vendors in the country, but when they come to do it, I'll show you guys every minute detail of it. We'll go through the whole thing. It'll probably be 2 or 3 episodes just on the pool installation and the pump and the plumbing and the digging the hole and the finishing and the whole thing. But that is probably the best advertising a cool pool company could ever get here. So they should give me a deal. They should give me like almost an at-cost deal or something. Don't rake me over the coals. You're getting as long as they do a good job, they're getting the best advertising money could buy.
You should've known. You should've known. I should've known. You should've known. You should've known. I should've known. You 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 should've known.
So we've come to our neighborhood garden center first. It's small. In fact, it's so small they don't have much parking. Anyway, they've got a little selection. I actually found one of the water pots. I call them water pots. Water jars, I think they're called. Ceramics. I'll show you. They have a couple with fish in them here. Little lily pads and just tiny little fish. And these aren't super big ones. These are actually small ones as far as they go. But I found this. The one of them has a real nice gray texture with some design. It really looks nice. It's 2-piece. It's got like a pedestal, and then it's got the big bowl, so it sits up off the ground a little bit. And I don't know, I think that looks nice. 700 baht for that. So a little over $20. The various flora that they have here, a lot of it, most of it, is between, say, 200 and 400 baht. So between, say, $6 and $12, in the $8-10 range, like the sweet spot for a lot of these potted plants, potted trees. Bigger ones, of course, are going to be more. But I'll show you this one. In fact, you may not know this. If you get this specific breed of plant, and it's got huge green leaves. Having a plant with big green leaves here, almost anywhere in Asia, it's kind of a thing. That's a kind of a tradition, or I don't know, an old wives' tale, or whatever you want to call it, a superstition, that brings money into the house. So if you have these plants with great big green leaves, that means money can come into the house. The house will never be poor, never want for food or whatever. Riches will come. So they're sought after. But I mean, that's a really nice specimen there with lots of leaves, big leaves, for 450 baht. What's that? $15, something like that. That's actually a pretty good deal. But Lon says we can get it. Somebody is going to give us one like that or something like that. So anyway, she'll pick out what she wants. And then we're going to go to another place, like a big one that's out on Sukhumvit Road. So we also need an aquatic type plant to go into our new water jar. Something like one of these back here. You know, it's funny. To the untrained eye here, a lot of times you'll ride by an area and it looks like a total swamp. Where really it's not a swamp, it's a farm. They're either lotus or lily farms, or a lot of them would be lotuses. And it's actually an agricultural thing. But just to ride by and look at it, the typical foreigner here would say, oh, look at that swamp. It's a much bigger place right up on Sukhumvit Road, and there's another one maybe we'll hit on the way back. But the first place, Lon says, is very expensive, but already I'm seeing a lot of 150s instead of 200s. That's a good sign. So these behind me, very reminiscent of the last place. These are only 300 baht. They almost look fuller, not quite as big, but fuller. So when they're that size, I think they'll be better. If you're in Pattaya, I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they have a great tree and flower market. We were there several years ago, and there was, I don't know, some kind of hybrid specially grown plant. It was like, I don't know, 1 million baht or 5 million baht or something, just outlandish if you get the right combination for collectors. Anyway, we're not in that boat by any stretch. We're just looking for some nice quality greenery. Big leafy green plant here for 400 is bigger than the last place. Definitely, Lon was right. I think if you're just buying something small or something that maybe they only exclusively have, it's fine. But for just general, better to come to a bigger place. It's something I'm not sure I've ever seen before. It's 500 baht and it's a little guy, but it's like the roots are the plant. You can see or it's just upside down or something, but it looks to me like the roots are the decorative part, and the top is just where the roots would be. That's facing the heavens to get the water. About coconut mulch. That's what that is. They grind this up. There's a bigger section of coconut mulch, but this is very easy to make yourself. We buy coconuts at the market every week. Just throw the rinds, the shells in the backyard somewhere, let them rot down a little bit. They get real dry and porous like that. Then chop them all up and you got coconut mulch. Some of the best mulch puts nutrients into the soil and helps the plant grow. So we just made a deal on some of the big leafy green ones. Got two of them, 200 baht a piece for those. I tell you, almost the same size, almost the same thing. It was 400 baht at the last place. And the ladies just showed up with the cart. She'll cart them up front. This place, I gotta tell you, it's like as long as a football field in here. It's got to be 100 meters. Got this one for 200 as well. I said it half jokingly. She said these first ones were 200. I'm like, are these 200 too? I figured, because they're over here by the 500 baht ones. Anyway, he goes, yeah, you can have that for 200. We're making deals left, right, and center. Now, a lot of these things I'll point out. I'm like, hey, what about this one? What about that one? Lon she's already got in her head where we can get these for free. Certain people we know have some of these already that have agreed to give us cuttings or we can cut some, whatever it is. A lot of them, she goes, oh no, I can get this one from such and such. I can get that one from such and such, one of her girlfriends or whatever. So that's why we're not going to buy everything, because some stuff we'll just get for nothing. There you go. About $6 for each of those plants. That's pretty good. So that's about under $20 worth of plants for those three in the pots. I think if you buy them large like that, you don't have to worry about them, dying as soon as you get them home. I hope that's the move. I believe these are called desert roses. There's probably a scientific name, but they've got like a bottle-shaped trunk. Really neat. It's almost something like a bonsai tree. They don't grow all that high, but then they get full and you can trim them and prune them. But they're pretty cool. Only 100 baht for these, so about $3 for one of these. Lon doesn't want one, though. She doesn't care for those. But I think they're quite popular. I've seen them. And I think for $3 for a pretty shrub like that, not bad. So, of course, not everything's a decoration. Lon's got a couple plants here, 50 baht worth of chili plants. Well, $1.50. They're pretty big. They're about 2 feet high already. So they should be ready to bear fruit. She's already got basil, holy basil. That's a big ingredient here, like you would find for your pat kapao mu when you're eating lunch. She's already growing that. She brought that from the other house. So the chilies, a couple things like that. Every Thai household's going to want chili plants, basil plants, little herbs that you're going to use in everyday cooking. See how quick the price can go up if it's something a little bit more rare. This guy back here, 1,500 baht. Looks not as good as the ones we got for 200 baht, but the color of the leaves, the rarity for the collector, that's a $45 plant instead of a $6 plant. So it's also like a pepper plant. If you have curries here, a lot of times that type of thing goes into the curries. Anyway, we'll buy one of those, 100 baht. It's actually a mango plant that's already flowering. Them's baby mangoes. 950 baht for all that. So, I don't know, $26, $27, something like that. Pretty good haul here.
There you go. I hope that gives you an idea of some of the greenery that you can buy here. Next time, we'll probably start deploying all this stuff as they load it here. We're making a lot of progress on small things. Every day, things get checked off the list. So all of these add up, though. I mean, in the last couple of days, I've really been impressed with the quantity of things that got done. And then you look at it collectively, wow, we're really, really, really getting there. So hopefully by the end of next week, we'll really be to a point to say we're done. That would be nice. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the episode. Something else next time. But for this one, I got to go ahead and leave it off right here. And as usual, I'll thank you for watching. And until next time, bye for now.